Hello.
Hi. Oh, Jesus.
Another episode.
Yay. We are back.
We're working with one mic right now. We
Just
got more
one.
stuff on the way.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. It's a process.
It's a learning process.
It's bits and pieces.
As we go.
Yeah.
But I think since this is one of the first episodes, let's go ahead and talk about, maybe even discover a little bit.
Oh.
What is this show
What is
going
the
to
goal?
be, Troy?
What is the goal? As I am asked constantly.
Because you've talked a little bit about what you want to do with the show, what you want to talk about. You mentioned you want to bring people on.
Yeah, I've always enjoyed turning things like social media into something positive rather than negative in my life, because my parents always kind of grew up with this innate fear, because you never know who's on there. It could literally be anyone.
Yeah, that growing up when you're 12, hey, don't stick any personal information, not even your real name, online.
No, and so I always tried to make it something that I supported my friends with. If I saw something cool they were doing, that's what I would like. I wouldn't like anything about politics, wouldn't like anything about, I don't know, drama or whatever. I would just like, they have a project working, or if they're doing something that they like to do, I like it.
Yeah.
Or I'll share it, because that's what's fun for me, because they do the same for me. I would hope someone would do the same for me, and they have. And that's what I would want this to be. I want to bring our friends on who have their own little creative niches that are trying to work on something, because I'm working on something and I'm relying on them for their help as well, because I wanted to write sketches. I am writing sketches.
Yeah.
But it's tricky, and I need help. We need help.
You don't need help. You just gotta. It's all about repetition.
Yeah.
I feel like, because that's what we talked about in training at university.
True.
That's I know the Mr. Young himself.
Oh,
the man, he was always saying it's all about the reps. It's about the repetitions you put in.
True.
And so as long as we're just putting things out there, making things, producing things, it doesn't. A little bit degree, who cares what the quality is?
I mean, you gotta trial by fire in all things. That's the best way to go. But
I think it would be cool. I'm on board with you. I want to hear more people talk about art. I want to make things that artists would want to listen to or watch or consume, content that satisfies them in a way.
Yeah. I thought about, because I told you about this the other day, I thought about having the thing where it's like once a week we do a poll of like 3 different weapon combinations that we have, and be like, okay, what would y'all want to see by like Friday? And we have the week to work on this little fight between 2 different weapon styles that just wouldn't naturally
wouldn't.
I'm sure it's been done before somewhere. I don't care. It's something for us to do. Yeah. It's a good time. We make pretty good, interesting fights.
And we have a lot of different weapons. We have a few rapiers between us.
But the thing is like every time I see a lot of posts from like fight people in creating that stuff, it's not that it's something off about it, but I don't know. I don't feel like there's not enough people interested other than just fight people.
Okay. Well then, I don't know. What would draw you to it?
That's the thing. I try and find like outsider perspective. I try to ask other people. Not enough. But
well, then what excites you about doing the work yourself? Like, what kind of stuff do you think you'd want to see from an outside perspective? Try and take yourself out of the artistry and think about, well, what do I want to consume as an audience member?
Yeah. And that's something I still need to answer for myself, because I'm still working on, what do I like? Where do I want to go? And it's, it's all in, it's always, it's all in the air sometimes.
Well then, right now in this moment, Troy, sitting across this table from me, where do you want to be in 5 years?
That's a fantastic question. Not in this house.
Oh, definitely not.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I don't feel any particular strong pull away from the state I'm living in, Texas. Like I have my own kind of hold against Texas, because I am so fair-skinned. I am probably getting it. Just, you asked me earlier the art that I don't want to do.
That was a question I was going to really save to delve into. You just get to fire across.
But there's one thing that I worked on. It was sophomore year when we were doing She Kills Monsters. It was a one-day film thing for the communication school, and some guys were working on it, and they were like, hey, we need some guys with like some fight stunt experience, maybe this, that, or the other. And Zach and I were like, well, we can go help. Let's go do it. So we get one of the rehearsals off, and we're on top of a parking lot garage at U of H. It's like 105, and
we did She Kills Monsters in April, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
So you were out there late April.
Yeah,
in Texas.
It's hot
on top of on the roof of a parking garage.
Yes, it's real hot, and we're only wearing polo shirts and pants, but we're up there and we're like, hey, can we have any sunscreen? They're like, no, we didn't have any sunscreen. And it's like, cool. So, you know, like, what's the compensation for this? You know, you have food, right? You guys are gonna bring us food, and they brought like an old stale pack of like granola bars, and we're like, thank you.
Thank you.
And I got a 2-degree sunburn from that, and it still has scarred my skin to this day.
A permanent farmer's tan of cherry.
Yeah, I have tried so hard to get rid of it. I have tried so many different things, and
I remember
it's just
you
there.
suffering because I think we were about to go into tech, and we just started the costume runs, and since we were the stage ninjas, quote unquote, and all the monsters, we just had this skin tight base layer,
black unitard thing.
Spandex,
yeah,
and just gripping onto 2nd-degree sunburn.
Yeah, and we were ripping leather and like foam chain pieces on and off all the time. Remember? Yeah, we were just tearing things off as we go because we were changing every single scene transition, which is all kinds of fun. And then the fly system. Oh gosh, that was fun to learn.
Well, I think you.
But that is
What kind of art don't you want to do?
That, not that again. Anytime they pay me in granola bars, I know just to leave, just to be like, what's nah.
But like, I don't.
No, I know what you.
That's
I know
a
what
job
you.
quality.
Yeah, no.
Like, what kind of art? What themes? What like surrealism, realism? What do you want to do?
I'm really not gonna lie. I really enjoyed Among Rivers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did too.
Admittedly. Among Rivers was a. What was it? What was it called? It was like multi.
Oh! It was an interdisciplinary art piece.
Mm-hmm.
It was this guy from the Rice University. He got a grant. He works there. I think is he in the music department?
I think so. Yeah.
I think he's in the music department, and he does a lot of like experimental sound concerts with a bunch of musicians. Where he's like, I'm trying to create these kinds of emotions and this sort of like audible sensation.
And it's one of those like things where it was the whole room was the experience. There was no place to sit down and watch it. It was interactive.
You walked in the giant black box, and there were projections on every wall, and there were some projections on the floor.
Yeah, I have some pictures on my Instagram, but we had like canvases that we came out, we rolled out, and the projections would come down and roll out as the canvases were displayed.
But how we got involved was through a friend of ours from University of Houston who had this connection with this guy and said, hey, I need some people who can walk really slow and can slowly descend into a squat and have had vocal training, because this guy wanted to do like vocal experimentation. And I think like the whole point of the piece is it focused on projecting pieces of water, and it was all about how humanity going into nature causes a disturbance within nature, but nature will
ultimately
through its forces,
it will ultimately correct itself. It will go back to a natural state where it should be,
and we just have to live among that peacefully.
Hence,
and since it was all about rivers, among rivers. So why did you want to name the podcast Among Rivers?
It was just such a different experience of a show. I had never done any.
Because what all did we do?
We did slow 10 walking, which is a stylized way of moving for the theater. We did that. We did some dance.
Yeah, we did some dance, some modern dance, some.
We clacked some rocks together.
That was really it. I think we moaned in a couple microphones a few times.
We read some Latin poetry. But where was I gonna go? I had somewhere I was gonna go with that.
Why you named
Among Rivers. Well, it was just so weird. It was so different. It was so odd. I guess I had done Adam's piece. I can't.
Terminus.
No, well, I had done Terminus before that. Yeah, and that was like a small piece. I'm thinking of the one that was in the fall.
Broken Horizon.
Broken Horizon.
At University of Houston.
Yes,
Yeah.
Broken Horizon. Oh, that show. That was similar in what we were working on for it, but my part in Broken Horizon wasn't really like what we were doing for
Among Rivers.
Among Rivers.
Yeah.
No.
Among Rivers. It was like all about this Latin poem. And I think we each took turns like whispering different lines.
I don't even remember what the poem was called.
All I know is that the first 4 weeks of this 6-week process were spent sitting around a table, looking into each other's eyes, going,
Ooh, it was so odd.
and then taking one by one, going into a room with a microphone and reading this Latin play into the microphone.
I loved it. It was fantastic.
Beautiful.
It was fun. It was a weird experience.
So here's why I think we're going to be the Among Rivers podcast. If it was about being in unison with nature, let's bring people who are natural to our environment of the art and be among them.
That's
Let's,
poetic and
let's
nice.
get these rivers flowing together.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, this is the Among Rivers podcast.
Among Rivers. Among Rivers.
So, I asked you what kind of art you did not want to do. What do you want to do?
It's something I'm figuring out as I'm writing these sketches that I'm making. I want to have just a fun kind of playground where I can play with the dreams that I have. Because every day I wake up, when I have dreams, I write them down as much as I can in my notes. I have a ton of them. You know this. I hear
about some of them. I hear
have
about the greatest ones.
Many. I have so many weird ones that just stick in my head. And I write them all down, and I try and find ways I can make them into little sketches, little skits, because I'm like, this is weird, this is absurd, this is funny to me. This is the kind of thing I would want to see. And I don't, not that I don't see other people doing that, I see their own kind of, I'm trying to think of examples of people that would do stuff like that. I don't know. But, like, Auntie Donna.
Okay.
There we go. Yeah. Not like them, but the absurdist kind of quality of just anything can happen. Also like kind of Community as well.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, sort of Dan Harmon's sense of humor where like anything can happen, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
We don't need to explain how we got here, why this is this thing, or why this is so important. What matters is we're having fun and these weird rules are around us.
What was that style of art? Is that Dadaism? Is that like there was some sort of absurdist art that boomed 20s and 30s, particularly like theater of the absurd. I think
It was Dadaism.
we could do just about anything, and it doesn't matter what it is. We don't really have to explain it. It's however it reflects upon you.
I'm gonna go into my theater history notes and tell you.
Oh yeah,
Rob Shimko would be so proud of me.
We'll save that for another time.
Yay. But, and the thing is, like, what kind of holds me back, I feel like, is I don't know if there is any kind of underlying message or some kind of thing that I'm trying to do with it. It's kind of just, I want to make something. I think it's entertaining.
Yeah, I think, like, if I'm going to answer that question, to counter that, I don't think there ever is something I want to achieve. It's sort of just self-expression. Like, what can I create? Mm-hmm. What comes out of my brain? What can I turn into?
Excuse me.
Anything. Not like, and can it? I like your idea of writing down dreams as sketches or just short films.
Mm-hmm. Cause I get like, hold on, let me pull up like 2 or 3 of these. They're not going to be interesting because dreams are never interesting when you tell them to someone else.
Are you sure, man? Like, I don't know where my phone is right now, but if I had mine, I'd pull it out and read you some of the dreams I've written down. I can probably remember one.
Oh yeah, I was living at someone else's house, and all of the air ducts were underneath the house, and they were all filled with water, and you had to swim through them to work on them, and that was my job. To live there, I was swimming in the air ducts, and I was fixing the air ducts that were just full of water.
The water ducts.
And there was, I don't know if it was real or not. I don't know if it was kind of one of those just in a haze things, but I remember in the dream feeling like I was being suffocated, and like I wasn't able to breathe because I'm underwater, right? So asleep Troy like opened eyes, took a breath, and went back into the dream. And I was swimming again, and I could breathe, and I was fine, and it was so weird. I don't remember what happened, but I have like this vague notion that it did.
I remember that. You're kind of ringing a bell of a nightmare I had as a kid. I couldn't tell you. I think I was being chased by like a monster or something, and I rounded the corner and like fell onto a bed. And when I fell onto the bed, it like made sleeping Justin like aware of like, oh, I'm asleep. So I woke up for a second and then looked around my room, was like, okay. And as soon as my head hit the pillow again, the monster was right there in my face. I was like, oh, like he was waiting for me in Dream World or something.
Oh, Jesus. The one that I do remember that one other one that I have somewhere hidden in here that's really prevalent in my mind is, I don't know how we would do it, but it was, there was like a very large school, and there was a book fair happening that day, and there was also a test happening that day, and whoever had the best score on their test won a library book that was owned by Bruce Willis, and Bruce Willis was there to give you that book. Now, I was part of an elite operative team to go get this book. I don't remember who was on the team. I know it was a cast of characters because we were all of varying shapes and sizes. But for some reason, like, I kept barely missing Bruce Willis. He kept getting distracted by everyone else. And I got in, got the book, got out the back, and then he showed up with like a whole bunch of helicopters, and then I woke up. Again, I don't know how to make that happen because I don't know Bruce Willis.
That's fair. But, you don't have to know Bruce Willis. You just have to know a old dude who wants to do everything in a day and is willing to wear a bald cap.
I just got to know Daniel and get a wig cap.
Oh, there was one dream I had. It was World War III in the dream. But it was World War III almost reverted exact same play out as World War II, except instead of European Jews hiding in the forest of Europe in Germany, it was Americans, a certain like group of American like minorities who were being hunted. So like me and my brother pacted together and went off and made this reserve in like the Kentucky woods, and just a camp in this huge thicket of woods, like a secret military camp where we're protecting them, and just pretending to be a little bit, pretending to be hunters in the woods.
Jesus.
And one day we're out hunting, and like one of our scouts is like, hey, there's a breach on this outer perimeter. So like we head over to like whatever western side it is, and we get there, and there's a whole line of this like new American empire, and I'm looking at these war machines that look like straight out of sci-fi, like the first drafts of Iron Man suits where it's like a bunch of mini guns around the arms,
kind of like power armor from Fallout a little bit.
Imagine the mech suit from Alien, but with a bunch of Iron Man gadgets.
Can we be real for a second?
Hold on. Let me finish this dream. So we see all this, and all we've got is like revolvers and 270 deer rifles. That's it. And we're looking at like a futuristic army,
just
like
militia,
just machines and tanks that are just hovering and then set down, and the tank wheels come out, and with like 3 gun, insane military technology, and it's just 6 of us with some deer rifles. They're like, what are you doing out here? We're like, oh, we just have a hunter's cabin we've been living in for the last 8 months. Because we used to live in Texas, but, with the nuclear detonation down there, we had to retreat to Kentucky. So
we're here like backwoods. 3 sticks and Pappy from down the road.
Like, there's nothing sketch going on back here. It's like, oh, well, we've received word of a refugee camp back here. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Well, obviously they didn't buy it, so they start shooting at us.
Oh, lovely.
And we just split. Everyone just like, screw it, I'm out of here. And there are like foot soldiers that look like freaking Star Destroyer. lieutenants running around like in Star Wars looking things with revolvers, and I remember running through the woods and like dodging bullets because I can, for whatever reason, sense it's about to come this way. I can hear it coming.
Yeah, that kind of like precognition you have in a dream.
Yeah,
enough to like stay alive somehow.
Getting a quick skirmish, I almost get killed. My brother comes up and like decks him, like take his tomahawk. We take him out. We start running. And then out of the corner of my eye, I just hear a bang, and my brother drops. But I keep running because the dudes with the flamethrowers are coming. And I remember in the dream looking back to see him on the ground, turning around to yelling no, reaching out for him, and I woke up like no, like reaching across the bed, going ah. It was the craziest experience.
I had an apocalypse dream. It was
before you get into that.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
You freaked out whenever I said mech from Aliens.
Just Aliens.
Oh,
I love that movie. That movie is wonderful. That is just anytime people will bring up or reference Aliens, the Alien series, I love Aliens.
You'll never shut that shit down.
No, I won't.
Hudson.
I won't. It's so much fun.
It's
Sigourney
so good.
Weaver is such a badass.
In all of them.
Every time.
Oh, it's so good.
But the dream, the apocalypse dreams that I had, the one that stuck out the most to me that I have rummaging around in my head, it was like it was kind of like that 28 days later situation, or 28
days later is
the first one.
He gets hit by a car on a bike. He wakes up from a coma.
Yeah, 28 days later. Like I wake up later, I've missed something, and I need to figure out what's going on. I meet these people. I start living with them. No one else is around. But there's no games, there's no power, there's no electricity, but you can't go out certain times during the day. And I think it was me and Daniel. I think I remember Daniel was there because we were like two of the younger people in the compound or whatever, and we sneak over to some other like house in the area in the neighborhood, and we find this old GameCube, and we start playing this GameCube in this garage, and it's kind of loud. And then Daniel starts freaking out, turns off the GameCube, throws this giant like blanket and tarp over either of us, and just gets down. It's like, don't move. And you see like this pale, massive elk thing with antlers, with a human face, and it can like speak like a human, and it somehow
a stag sphinx.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but white, like albino white.
I got you. I'm also imagining that thing from Princess Mononoke.
Kind of.
But white.
Yes. Very unsettling.
Yes.
And somehow they had like a whole bunch of human slaves. Like they had humans to go find other humans to go kill because they would eat humans.
Oh my god.
It was weird. It was such a weird, unnerving dream. Dreams are freaky. But that's why I wanted to like.
Great?
That's why I wanted to make art from them because I don't have no idea what they mean.
See, then I guess we're gonna have to depend on you because if I have it, like I rarely have dreams.
Mm-hmm.
If I have dreams, they're either inappropriate or they are like grandstanding epics that I'm just constantly in peril until the very end, or they make absolutely no sense and are weird, and I think about them for months afterwards. Have you ever had a recurring dream?
You know, I have a memory of about a month I had the same kind of dream repeat at the same time, but that was it. I don't remember what kind of dream it was or what it had to do with. If I told you anything, I would just be making it up, but I remember it happened once but never again.
I had a recurring dream, like to me in my memory I had it for more than a year. Or like it was the same time of year for multiple years.
Okay.
And it was for always more than 2 months at a time. Almost every night I had this dream. But I stopped having it when I was like 9. So from like 5 to 9, I regularly had this dream.
Mm-hmm. I
was in the back of the family van. We had one of those, I think it was like a red Chrysler minivan. Where the sliding door, and it's like
yes,
it's the 3-door. It only opens on one side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we have one of those, and I'm sitting in the back because it's a 3-row. It's like the 2 front seats, the 2 middle seats, and then the lane of 3 back seats. I remember being back there, looking at my reflection in the window in front of my house. We're about to pull away. I can sense it. But then I look through my eyes in the reflection, and my family is standing on the sidewalk waving goodbye to me. And I get this sense of danger and this like impending feeling of like I'm never going to see them again. And as I look to who's driving, it's just 2 black silhouettes. And we just start driving. And like young me in the core of my body is like, I will never see my family again. And then I wake up. And for almost 4 years of my childhood, I had this dream. I know. I only had it like twice afterwards.
Was it the same every time?
Yeah.
Same exact
same thing every time.
That is freaky.
Yeah. But like as I'm telling you this, I've told you like the ghost stories about the house I grew up in, right?
Yeah.
I told you how they looked, right? As if
vaguely, yeah.
dust had been suspended across a shadow. Only in the shape of a man.
Yeah.
That's who was driving. And I've always believed that there's 2 ghosts in the house. So I'm thinking they were just like talking to me in my sleep, or were they trying to pull my soul out of my body as a child? What's going on, Troy?
If I was a ghost.
Hold on. That's what are these ghosts doing in my brain,
If I was
Troy?
a ghost. I don't know.
You don't know? What would you look? We've all seen the Pokemon episode where Ash becomes a ghost for a
literally
day.
gets sucked out of his body.
Yeah, and then they just throw him right back in.
You know what that reminds me of?
Hold on. If you were a ghost,
If I was a ghost, I don't know, because it'd have to be like, can I move things around? Is this my only interaction?
I guess that's true, because like, aren't there different kinds of specters?
Yeah, you got poltergeists, which are like the ones that can physically, or the ones that are supposed to move physical objects.
I thought they were the one. I don't know anything about it. Like I just assumed from those trailers, they specifically control energy.
They're supposed to be like restless, angry spirits that they're the ones that can slam walls and throw things and attack people. Those are called poltergeists.
Okay.
A
standard ghost is just like
I don't know. I guess sounds.
Because there's always
noises.
the theory of like you're a bound spirit.
Like I've never seen a ghost, which is why I'm not opposed to believing in a ghost. I just have had zero experience and or reason to, even though a lot of people in our profession are extremely superstitious and have claimed, which is why I always ask everyone I can, have you seen a ghost?
Almost everyone in theater has a ghost story.
Everyone has a ghost story, and you always learn so much about that person, because they'll be like, well, all right, when I was going to school here, when I wasn't paying attention, and I was just... You get to see what they notice and what they think is paranormal.
But I think there's something consistent in that it's always like lingering here in the periphery. Like it's the last 2 inches of what you can perceive before it becomes blind to you. That's always where I see them. Like any figure, if they're there. But it's so clearly like a person standing over there. But then once you move, it just... evaporates.
That's so convenient, and
right?
Humans want to see patterns, and it makes sense.
Well, like I used to trick them as a kid because I'd see them there, and I'd see them resting there, and I would be certain of it. And I was like, I know the second I look at you, you're gonna disappear. But I would put all of my focus on that peripheral spot and study it from a peripheral to try and and it got to the point where I could tell you how tall this specter was.
How tall was he?
Like just shy of 6 foot.
Okay.
Honestly, probably between 5'9", 5'11".
Okay.
And just shy of 6 foot. He was not very broad. I don't know if... Question.
Hold on.
Can spirits be fat? Does a spirit even have a shape? Because if we can see like the outline of a ghost...
So let's get into it, Justin.
Here we go.
Let's get really into it. I'm glad we have the tinfoil hats on. So, if you want to say, let's go with the argument that like you have some kind of electrical field that is uniquely like your signature, right?
Okay.
What's to say that can't last after death, after the body and it somehow becomes severed?
I mean, I learned a little bit of Egyptian death philosophy from Ancient Aliens. Well,
Which is
later.
That's my doctorate. that's my alma mater, is Ancient Aliens.
We can get into that, but like, I remember, like, I think the Egyptians, maybe the Aztecs as well, believed there's 3 parts of the human soul. There's the part that stays in the body, and that's why mummification was such a thing, because that was there, and if you just put the other parts back in and rehydrated the body, you would come back to life. Because Ancient Aliens says aliens did this to their kind, and it freaked humans out. And that's why they started.
That's how it was cryo-freezing.
Yeah, they think they're going to be like aliens are going to come down and bring all these pharaohs back to life or something.
It'd be great.
But so yeah, there's.
Wouldn't that be horrifying if you're just a pharaoh and you die and you never see you're a pharaoh, you've never seen the gods, they were aliens, and you get reawoken like millennia in the future.
Like no frame of reference.
None.
Like one of those, I'm just going to take a 15-minute power nap. And then you wake up at 3 a.m. like, what planet?
Bright lights. But, say, back to what I was getting at with like the imprint or like the energy of what a person was like.
Yeah.
The electromagnetic kind of just pulse or whatever you want to call it, imprint of a human.
Mm-hmm.
It gets trapped in a loop, or it's like that imprint would be whatever that person was.
That's an interesting way to think about ghosts, is that it's just an energy anomaly within this spot of space that ghosts just exist in.
Yeah, which kind of feeds into the argument of why you see them walk through walls, because sometimes there are walls where there aren't walls anymore, or there are walls where there weren't used to be walls.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it's just them stuck in their loop, stuck in their pattern.
Just their human energy. Maybe they spent so much time in it in life, it just charged that area of space with their life presence. So even decades after they've passed from this world, we can just see their energy moving through it. Tinfoil hat.
Exactly. And I just like saying all this stuff because it sounds fun. It's just fun to theorize.
Now, look,
but like that is one of like the ideas of a theory from the other side.
Yeah, but I think these theories are the things I want to make art about.
But they're fun
because that's what what I don't know. That's the fun stuff to me. Mm-hmm. Like, what if? Let's take this thing that 87% of people are going to be like, that's not a real thing. And let's take it absolutely seriously and create the conditions under which it could totally be a thing.
Mm-hmm. It's why, you see, like, what if is one of my favorite questions, which is why I like alternate histories things, which is why I like Ancient Aliens, because I know none of it's real.
Do you? Do you know none of it's real?
Aliens. But it's fun to just ask those questions and see where it goes. It bothers my sister Amy beyond all belief, because she's just like, it's always the same thing every episode, and I'm like, yeah, why not? It's silly, great. But it's fun. It's fun.
And you know what? What if
there's an alien out there? I hope there's an alien out there. I want to be a friend with an alien out there.
What if we're just a primitive species and it's an advanced species being like, oh, we know how to help you?
What if we're the aliens?
I mean, what if? What if that's what we did in the 60s, is we secretly invented light speed, we just warped them out there, and they keep visiting us from millennia in the future. Because light speed. This makes no sense.
No. But I'd hope so. I would hope so. I'd love to see an alien.
Well,
I guess also, to take this off, to kind of move on.
Bringing it back to reality.
Bringing it back to actual coherent conversation. Not about getting abducted. Which is something I'm not opposed to believing either, but also haven't seen. I've never seen.
Now, are you opposed to being abducted?
Yeah.
You're opposed to it?
I'm opposed to being abducted. I don't think I'd want to be abducted.
Why? What do you think is going to happen to you?
It's not that I don't think...
Gonna get probed?
Maybe. But also, like, even if just regular people just abducted me, I wouldn't know what was going to happen.
I mean, that's fair.
I don't trust I wouldn't trust humans to abduct me. I'm not going to trust an alien, really.
You know what? I'm willing to say I am more likely to trust an alien to abduct me than I am a human to abduct me.
Yeah, I bet an alien would know more what's going on.
If a human abducts me, they're going to be, smuggy about it. They're gonna be scum of the earth about it. They're gonna try and get like a ransom, or they're just gonna torture me or use me as a slave, whatever. Aliens, they're gonna stick a few things in me. They're gonna take a few samples. They might zap me with something, leave a little trinket in me, and just drop me off in a cow field.
They might just take you.
They might.
Justin, I'll let them.
They might. Look, if legit, I think if an alien tried to abduct me, I would go willingly. I'd be like, all right, time to ascend in the knowledge of the universe. I'm ready for it.
It would be fun to go into space.
I think it would be
Do great. A Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Absolutely. Or, I mean, I can't even think of cinema or TV where there's an alien abduction. The dude's just like, yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Peter Quill.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Star-Lord. I'll totally pull the Star-Lord moment. Yeah, take... Oh, okay, yeah, sure, fine. I'm cool. Let's go. We'll figure it out as I go. I would fail. I would die. I'm... Bring back the primitive technology, Troy. That's the kind of person I am. Make it easier on us. I'm becoming a boomer.
So, to kind of circle it back to reality, what I wanted to do, when we took the tinfoil hats off, was what do you find is the main thing that motivates you when you create?
If I'm having fun doing it.
Yeah.
I know it's like so simple, but that's really all it comes down to is it something I can have fun doing? Because if I can have fun doing it, I have no shame sharing it with people. It like any like you know me. I'm not someone who shares to social media.
Yeah.
That's because I've spent so much time thinking about how I'm perceived that I'm just like, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to present anything to be perceived. You're just going to get to know me through face-to-face interaction.
Mm-hmm.
But whenever it comes to art and developing things, that's where I like to okay, let me be a little vulnerable.
Well, yeah.
And so I want it to be on my terms and only if I can have fun doing it. If it becomes stressful for me to do the art, it's not as fulfilling. Like if it's... There's a certain amount of stress that goes into any show process.
Yeah.
It goes into any production process to create anything. But if it's causing more stress than it is satisfaction, then to me it's not worth doing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It should cause the satisfaction throughout the experience, which makes the end goal so much more euphoric and worthwhile.
It's probably... I think it's also why you prefer stage over screen. I think a lot more. There's
a candidness to it.
There's also not to say anything about theater. There's an immediate gratification when it comes to stage. There's the person is right in front of you. At the end of the show, they clap, or you say a joke, you get a laugh.
You can feel the energy in the room.
Yeah. You can take it and you can do with it what you will. You can play with it. You can shape it. You can mold it. Whereas screen, you've got one person's vision of a specific angle shot that's probably going to take all day to do.
And that the one I feel I did best in will not be the one that makes it
most likely
the final
not.
cut.
Most likely not. No.
Yeah, and I will have maybe 3 rehearsals with each scene before I go out and stare at the person that I'm not even supposed to be talking to in the scene. It's just a random stand-in while the camera's right here, and I have to pretend. No, give me the ability to convince a group of strangers what's happening on stage is genuine.
Mm-hmm.
And give me a group of imaginative people to just let go.
So what would be the conditions in which you would find... Or what would have been some processes that have been the most fun for you?
Honestly, as much as we were like, what the heck was that? Again, among rivers.
Every time.
Every time. It was beautiful. It was so unlike anything I had ever done before.
It was so odd. Like, I had so much fun. But it also...
And, like, we were getting to a point where I was like... I wasn't sure. I really wasn't sure for a minute.
So confused.
Because I was like, I thought we were here as the stylized movers. We've sat around this table for 4 weeks. We start performing in a week. What?
And then
we hadn't even gotten on our feet and conceptualized physically what we're going to do.
And the Monday before the Friday are showing up. The database, the whole thing
we had a
crashed.
huge thunderstorm,
and it wiped the entire
the
computer program.
hard drive of the computer that he did the whole project on.
All of it.
So he came in that day and was like, "I'm gonna let you guys have the space and the lights, the work lights to sort of choreograph. I'm sorry, I can't give you the projections that you will be emotionally responding to and howling at. I'm sorry, I can't give you the water and the pace of this projection to." Like, we did this really cool thing where we unrolled this cape and we put it on this woman. Yes. And as she walked across the stage, we held it out and projected water on it that sparkled like moonlight hitting it. And as we went to the far upstage and exited, it just expanded to fill the whole back wall. Like, you were just looking out over this night sky ocean. And it was a really cool moment. And things like that, where in a week we figured out physically what the show was actually going to be.
What was going to happen.
And because of that, all the performances were to a degree slightly experimental and had to be candid of that day, because every time it was going to be different. Because it was, like you said, it's one of those where people just walk in and they stand about the room. Yeah. So
it's completely immersed.
We have designated tracks. If someone's in your way, you just keep walking through, and if they don't move, you just mold your body around.
Slightly shift. Just
definitely.
So what I'm hearing is performance art.
Not necessarily performance art, but like, I don't know. I like to play.
I hate that term.
I like to play with metaphors.
I hate the term performance art.
Well, like,
it's so vague.
It's just performance.
Performance art. It's like, okay, great. So is anything with music. So is anything with theater. There's probably got to be something better to classify as just vague performance art.
See, like me, I don't know. I want to know what the ideas, what the concepts we are playing with in the art are.
And ideally, that's what you would start with.
And I want to be able to see it whenever I take in art. I don't want to be sitting there going, is there a narrative? Is there a point? Did you just do a bunch of acid and now you're going nuts out here with a bunch of random props that you picked up from the local thrift store? What's going on?
When we get Daniel in here,
we're going to talk about
it. When we get Daniel in here, we have to do... We have to tell
we can talk about that then. But
collaboration. Oh man. But I mean, yeah, that's what you'd hope for any artistic endeavor that you would do. That there'd be some kind of through line or some kind of artistic fulfillment or satisfaction throughout, not just doing something for the sake of doing something. Like, shock value is a tool. It is not, a message.
It is not a storytelling device.
To
me,
that's fair.
I'll even say, I don't know that I like shock humor. Mm-hmm. Like, I can chuckle at it, like those really dark humor jokes. That's like, why'd the boy fall off the swing? Because he didn't have any arms. Things like that. It's just. That was unexpectedly unexpected.
To me, it's the same. It's the exact same thing as a jump scare.
Yeah.
In a horror movie, it's supposed to achieve the exact same effect. You get your heart racing. Something has changed. You're elevated now. You're just, something's not right.
Yeah.
And at that point, I kind of see it as a narrative tool, in that the person, director, whatever, wants this to be a heightened moment for you for whatever reason. That somewhere throughout this story, this heightened moment right here, it's important it happens because it changes how you will view things later.
To piggyback on that, the one thing I dislike more than the jump scare is the anticipated jump scare. Because that just
falls flat.
Yeah, or the one that's like, we're just gonna hold that string on the violin or just put a little bit of that white noise into the speakers, like a very low frequency, just so you feel tension inside of you. That silence, that eerie silence that comes right before the big loud sound.
Yeah.
And they just extend it and then fizzle it out. And then it happens.
Yeah.
Stop building that tension and letting it go.
It's so cheap.
Maybe it's not. Maybe that's something that people actually enjoy. Because I remember last week.
Some people do, yeah.
Last week we had Mustaine over. And he and I watched The Talented Mr. Ripley. It's a 1990s Matt Damon movie.
Matt Damon, yeah.
Where he just spends the whole time pretending to be other people. And
it's creepy. It was a creepy movie.
How Jacob described it is the writers just sat in a room and chain smoked until they had a script. And then that's what they filmed. Because that whole movie, you cannot relax. You're like, dude, get out. There's your moment out. Why are you digging yourself deeper? Are you addicted? What is wrong with you?
It is a good movie.
But it's so good.
Oh, man. But to kind of go further into that, what do you find yourself making art or things because of... Sorry, let me rephrase that. Do you find yourself picking what you want to create more, or just finding yourself in things you like?
Right now, I think it's the latter.
Finding yourself in things you like?
Yeah, but I mean, like, I can do that in any art piece.
Fair.
Like, even in... It was a good show. It was a great show. It was a great show to end my college career on. I didn't have a whole lot of fun doing Last Night at Ballyhoo. To me, it was like the apple tree is literally there. I don't have to reach for that. There's things I played with. It showed me there are definitely things as far as acting that I'm still uncomfortable doing, even small stupid things that I need to work up the willingness to open up with on stage. But it was low-hanging fruit, if you know what I mean.
Fair, yeah.
But even so, I was still able to take something out of it.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great show. You did a great job. We tried on it. We worked really hard. I had a lot of fun. I had fun being... Yeah. I didn't have fun dyeing my hair.
Oh, look, man, I had fun watching you go through that.
Oh, my God.
Oh, that was a good time.
I did not want to become Carrot Top for that show. But it was fun.
Yeah.
It was a... Speaking of which... What should I do with my hair?
I don't know, man. Honestly, if you really want to get real nerdy, I told you I wasn't a weeb until we started watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I'm imagining I'll dye my hair blonde. You go brown. We'll do JoJo and Caesar.
Jesus Christ.
We'll do JoJo and Caesar. We can do a little play fight. We can do it to Bloody Stream.
Oh my God.
That was my whenever we were mowing the yard. Whenever we were mowing the yard today, that song came on and I start boogieing and I'm like, ooh. And I can just, anytime I listen to music, I start playing a little music video.
Yeah, that's how I get through anything with my workouts.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Just play the music video.
That's why I can't.
About the burn.
I don't get people that talk at the gym. I don't get people that socialize at the gym.
I don't get people who socialize.
Yeah.
I do get people. I need to socialize.
You do.
I don't get people who socialize with strangers. Like, the baggers at grocery stores. Dude, I have 13 items. Just put them in 3 bags and let me walk out with them.
Yeah.
Instead of putting 8 of those items into one bag, 2 of those items in another bag, and then making me carry another.
Yeah. But I don't know. It's always nice to, because I guess my perspective on those people is like sometimes that's the best part of someone's day. Is getting to talk to other people, because some people don't get out as much.
Or a charming experience with a total stranger.
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't know about you, but I was gonna ask, have you ever had an encounter with a stranger that you've latched onto? And a name popped into my head immediately because we shared this encounter. Oh yeah. And I'm gonna say we have enough time to end with that story.
Which story? Oh, which story is this? Is this
outside of Mize?
Virgil?
Yes.
Ooh, Virgil.
The man.
I guess
time Troy and I potentially met a reincarnated Buddha.
We met a very special individual that to this day
he just disappeared into the
just
darkness.
He's gone.
He literally disappeared into the darkness.
I have yet to see him again, and his words still echo in my head. I still think about it, and it's what motivates me half the time. Let's get into the story. Let's get into the story.
So,
this is senior year. You and I are both performing in Main Street Theater's production of Enemies.
yes.
Yeah, this is in the fall.
Russian political play.
About
3-hour Russian political play.
It was a long play, but it was good times.
It was a good time.
After one of the performances, you and I
went to go meet a couple of friends at a popular Vietnamese restaurant called Mize in Midtown Houston.
Yeah, we were outside waiting for him, and we see this dude start coming down the street.
I guess you saw him.
Yeah.
All I remember is you and I were talking, and people were coming in and out of the restaurant because we were waiting on our table.
Yeah.
And a group went in as some people walked past on the sidewalk, as another group came out. And out of that group, all of a sudden was this scrappy-looking fellow.
Just stumbled through.
Just plaid shirt, a beard down to the bottom of his breastbone, hair kind of loose, maybe half in a ponytail.
Yeah.
Had about 8 teeth.
Yeah, total. And had like a water bottle, probably about this much vodka in it.
Or it was water. I don't know.
Who knows? But I had saw him kind of coming down a little bit earlier because there was a security guard on the corner, and I was like, oh man, I really don't want to see like an altercation. I don't want this drunk to really get in trouble with this guy. I hope he just moves on. And he stumbles through, and he turns, and he looks at me and goes, hey you, how many therapists does it take to change a light bulb? I look at you.
We look back at Virgil.
How many? He goes, one.
Only one.
But the light bulb
has got to want to change.
And we lost it. And this man starts throwing joke after joke after joke after joke after joke. And it's fantastic.
It turned into like a 20-minute stand-up routine.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Just on the side of the street. And everyone else wasn't watching, but we were just talking to him.
Well, like, everyone was watching, but looked so concerned and uncomfortable. Because this guy, like, clearly lived on the streets. Like, he had a hole in his pants.
He was intoxicated
His
somehow.
shoes were peeled open on... Like, one of his shoes was peeled open at the toe. He had holes in his shirt.
But there was one thing that really, like... Because he was, like, throwing joke and joke and joke. And then
it turned into, like, hey, look at me. You know, I've had a bad night. And here I am. Telling jokes. I got a smile on my face.
Oh.
I'm homeless. I'm 56 years old. I got AIDS. I live under a bridge.
I'm losing weight every week. My entire family is dead. I've lost both my sisters, my brother, my parents.
My aunt, my grandparents, and I'm happy. What's your excuse, young men?
And my heart just...
I cracked. Like, I think I actually teared up in that moment. Like, why the fuck am I this privileged and this miserable at the same time?
Yeah. It was such a reality check. But he also was so incredibly eloquent.
Yes.
He was so well spoken. Because turns out...
I remember we asked him and he was like, oh, I spend every day at the library.
Yeah. He had a degree in like literature or something.
Yeah, and he wrote his own poetry.
So he starts. We ask him, we get into this. And we're like, okay, do you have some of your poetry to share with us? And he tells us this beautiful poem about
like this
the tug and the pull of like life and death, and how we all kind of just spiral in a giant black hole of our own disappointment and misery. But it's kind of a hell we create. but it's all of our own creation, and we have control over it. That's what I kind of took away from it.
Yeah, no, that's where it was going, and that in that deepest, darkest spot, relinquishing it and just stopping the fight evaporates all the problems, and then you can
just embracing it, just letting go. Yeah, and then that poem was phenomenal.
Like, I think at that point I was in tears.
It was fantastic. I was like, this is insane. At that point, our friends had shown up, and we're like, what's going on? And we're like, listen to this.
Listen to this guy. And like, I think a couple of times restaurant management started to come out, and before they could say anything, I like waved them off.
I was like, no, we're good.
I'm having a good time.
Give us like 5 more minutes.
Yeah.
Hold our table for us. But, and then he pulls out.
He doesn't... From memory.
Just word for word, the entirety of Henry Wadsworth Longfellow's poem, The Day is Done. Every word, beautifully ringing out in this nighttime street.
Just standing on a narrow sidewalk outside of a Vietnamese restaurant at 9 o'clock. And he said this so well. I remember other people, other than our friends, stopped and started listening.
Yeah, and then after he finishes the last line, he's like, and with that, I will take my leave. And starts to leave.
We stop him.
I hand him.
Before you say that, I want to make this point. This man approached us, and not once did he ask us for anything.
Not once.
He engaged with us in lovely banter and gut-busting laughs.
No expectation of payment. No, like, hey, come eat with us. Nothing.
And was completely about to just leave.
Yeah.
With his now finished water bottle.
Yeah. And I go in and I'm like, I grab the cash I have in my pocket. And I'm like, thank you.
Thank you for this show.
Thank you for that. Thank you for just breathing creative life into my heart and a fire. And he's like, thanks. And the last I saw of him, we go inside. We shut the doors behind us, and I look back.
I remember this because I looked over my shoulder, and he's like through the door.
Through like that really small kind of triangle of the window. It's him walking across the street, looks back.
Throws up a peace sign over his shoulder. And then I swear to God, he literally evaporated into the dark.
Gone.
Just gone. Like he phased out of reality.
It was such a wonderful just moment of meeting that guy.
That's the kind of art I want to make.
Yeah.
I want the kind of art that takes people off guard. That makes them go, I didn't know that I needed this.
But I also, I want to do the ones that people remember. Like this. That are like so memorable.
I didn't know I needed this.
Like, oh, this is a part of me now in this odd way that I just kind of have on me like a third arm.
This obscure defining moment.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
That's beautiful.
That's how we got to do it.
All right. Well, I think we need to create our sign-off ritual. Because we've done it twice. We haven't explained it.
Oh, yeah. Hold on. Do I got to go to get the wolf pack?
Yeah.
So, wolf pack is...
You guys. You listeners.
You're the wolf pack.
You are our wolf pack.
Yeah. And when we say wolf pack, we need to howl.
Yes. We call upon you all to send your howling energy to the moon.
Yeah. To us.
To us.
To
each other.
As we howl to you to give you energy.
Raise your voices up.
And a little... I'm not going to yell too close to the mic.
Oh, we don't need to yell.
We're going to yell?
Yeah. I don't think we need to yell. Just to call them out. Just
wolf pack. Ooh. Let's do it.